mission of Charlotte Family Housing is to empower families to achieve lifelong self-sufficiency through shelter, housing, supportive services, and advocacy. Apparo has worked with Charlotte Family Housing on multiple projects over the course of the past 4 years.
Apparo helped us to identify opportunities to become more digital, more 21st century in terms of how we did our administrative work. We used to keep lots of paperwork. We kept charts everywhere to track where the families were, how much they were using in terms of resources, what resources they needed, when they were ready to move from the shelter phase into the subsidized housing phase, how much that was costing, what kind of other resources were needed. So we had paperwork and charts all over the place.
It was a little difficult because they serve so many people, and we were trying to assess, do they need a business process first, or should we jump right into a application selection? So we recommended that they go forward with a business process through our Community Impact Projects program, and we brought in skilled volunteers to implement that.
Before Apparo, our processes were very manual. Some of it was care and feeding of spreadsheets, and some of it was literally passing pieces and packets of paper back and forth to one another. The packets are all information on the families that each different department needs. So the housing coordinator, when it came time for the lease renewal, would have to take the packet of information on the lease to the social worker. The social worker would have to attach all the information about the family's income and eligibility for renewal and pass it on to the chief program officer. And the chief program officer would have to review it, make sure that the family was eligible for renewal, and then hand it back to the housing coordinator, who would then process all of the paperwork piece to it and hand it back to the social worker. I had described the process recently as sort of that awkward handoff of the office birthday card. You give it to so-and-so, then give it to so-and-so, then give it to so-and-so. And this has saved us a lot of time to be able to just enter information into Salesforce, and everybody knows what's going on at the click of a button.
So that really streamlined being able to have the data at your fingertips in one place. That allowed us to improve those processes, that communication, and just also not just the data itself, but the notifications and triggers of when it was due was a big part of it too. Before we relied on, oh, we've got a spreadsheet, but it didn't run the numbers for us. And so we had to actually go, oh, let me put this and mark this in my calendar, and now it actually will send out reminders so we don't miss important deadlines that can affect our families.
Working with Apparo has allowed us to achieve maximum efficiency. It's allowed us to spend more time with our families and less of our donors' dollars on administrative side of the business and more on the program. Improving our efficiency, which is one of our core values, is an important aspect of that. So Apparo has played a critical role in that.